Michael Hunt has been chipping away at this rock for the past 18 months. What is emerging is a hawksbill turtle. Hunt was commissioned to carve this turtle out of stone for a resident of Antigua's exclusive Jumbi Bay resort situated on Long Island. Once completed, it will take up residence on Long Island, which just happens to be the last surviving nesting site for the hawksbill turtle in Antigua. Sculpting anything out of stone is an unusual request to make of someone who's been working in ceramics for the past 20 years. But for Hunt, he saw it as an opportunity to do something different, something he has always wanted to do.
My feeling is I've been a frustrated sculptor. My discipline is ceramics, pottery. But just after leaving college, I got a job working with some Japanese, producing Japanese gardens, landscaping essentially. And what I found, I did that for a dozen years, and what I found I enjoyed the most about it was I didn't come away learning too many plant names, but I liked the organizing structures and having volumes against each other in different shapes and areas and things. And I realized that was really a sculptural sensibility. I wanted to work with big things and deal with mass and, form and stuff like that in that way. And I've been sort of moving towards that for a while. And even before getting this commission, I have a love of rocks. I'm a rock person. I'm standing beside a pile of rocks, I get sort of quivery. So I'd been noticing rocks, and I noticed a mill that cut tiles out of rock that I'd been to before, and just to have a look at what they were doing. So it was sort of coincidental that somebody said, could you do something out of stone? Because I'd had this stone in mind, this material.
This is not a high-tech operation, and it took several months to actually get to this point. Finding the right stone, moving it into his backyard, and then
I have to get my psyche, convince my psyche that it knows what it's doing, it can do this. So my wife gets furious because I work around things, I fiddle, and really what I'm doing is saying, I can do this. Once I've convinced myself, my psyche's happy with it, I go for it. It's the first piece of stone carving I've done, really. I mean, I tinkered with things at college, but nothing for 20 years. And so for ages, I just walk around this thing and, you're trying to weigh it up and get the measure of it before you attack. But it needn't have taken quite so long. Yeah. It's actually something to do with sensing the turtle in there, and all you're trying to do is expose it. You're moving material away from it. So it's having a sense of structure and where things are in space. And in a reverse sort of way, it's the same sort of sense that you use when you drive your car. You know the parameters of your car. You know where you can reverse into. And you admire guys who drive 40-foot container trucks who can back those things up and put them in places you think, he has to have an idea of where the corners are. So with this stone, you're feeling all the while where the creature is in there, and you're just removing bits from around it to expose it, and you sort of know when you get to it, and hopefully you know where you get to and stop.
In between the hard labor of sculpting this stone, Hunt and his wife produce ceramics under the banner of Cedars Pottery. They're setting up a workshop in the hope of going into commercial production. But this physically demanding assignment may not be the last for this artist.
I don't know, it's a strange dance. You're in this arrangement with this stone for a while. And I didn't appreciate how much of a monumental thing it was that I'd overcome. It's stepping back, and my wife saying, this is, quite something. I don't know where this came from, but it's quite amazing that you've managed to pull this out of nowhere. And it was later on I look back and think, it was quite an achievement, not having had the previous experience of this sort of thing, to decide just on a whim that you felt you could do it. It was I know I'm not religious, but if I was, there was some sense of that, you know, the spiritual connection between me and this rock, and this tussle that went on, which I quite enjoyed. And it was sort of painful at some points. But yeah, I don't know if I stood back and analysed how I felt about it, but it was quite a relief stepping back from it and having it come together and thinking, wow, well, that was good. I'd like to do that again.